We're going to talk about motion practice inside a criminal case. Come with me and I'm going to tell you some of the secrets and the do's and don'ts of motion practice. I've been practicing almost 31 years, and I find it surprising that a lot of attorneys don't use this tool more. Motion practice in a criminal case is a way to narrow the charges against your client. I'm going to give you an example of a true story that happened to me. I represented one defendant in a 3-defendant case. The main defendant in the case was represented by a very famous attorney. If I told you his name, you'd recognize it instantly. And he was kind of the leader of the defense team just because of his prowess and his reputation as a criminal defense attorney. My client had hired me without the consultation of that attorney and that attorney's client, and my client really wanted me to represent her. Well, during the case, I filed a few motions regarding the fact that the district attorney wasn't turning over all of the information that was required to be turned over. And we had several hearings, and at the time we were assigned to a trial judge, and the trial judge was kind of a no-nonsense guy. And he was getting a little perturbed that we kept bringing these motions or making these requests for discovery. Finally, all of the information had been given to us, and before the trial started, of course, I think we were at the preliminary hearing stage, the detective who had this case for maybe a couple of years gets on the stand and starts testifying when the famous attorney is asking questions. And I'm thinking to myself, he's mentioning things that I haven't read anywhere before in any reports that I have. But I don't say anything. And the attorney finishes. And then the judge says to me, "Okay, Mr. Davis, your turn." So I start asking the detective questions. And it's become crystal clear to me that he's saying things that I've never read before. And I said to him, "Detective, what report are you referring to?" And he says, "Well, it's the report of so-and-so date, 10 pages long." And I looked at my notebook and I said, "Detective, I don't have that report." And I kind of looked to my other defense attorneys, the other two guys, and they're like, "We don't have that report either." And I said, "Detective, the notebook that you have, how many reports do you have in there that you've written?" And I think he said something like 6 or 7 reports. We had 4 reports. At that point in time, I told the judge, I said, "Your Honor, I want to make a motion to dismiss this case for the people's failure to provide me with discovery on a timely basis." Now, remember I said the judge was kind of a no-nonsense judge. He turned to the 2 attorneys I was working with, the very famous attorney, and just another third guy, a regular attorney like myself, and he says, "Do you join Mr. Davis's motion?" And they said, "Yes, of course we join his motion." Then the judge looked at the DA and said, "Well, Mr. So-and-so, what do you have to say? We've been round and round about this discovery, and now we find out that the defense is missing 3 of your police reports." And he started fumbling and saying, "Well, I thought I gave them to him," and blah, 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 blah. And then the detective says something that sealed the deal for us. The detective from the witness stand says, "Mr. So-and-so, Mr. DA, I gave you these reports." It turned out that he had given him the reports, but the DA, for whatever reason, I happen to think it might have been a mistake. I don't know if it was intentional or not intentional, but he didn't give them to us. He was maybe disorganized. Anyway, the judge had had enough and he dismissed the case. And 3 defendants walked away free because of a motion that an attorney made based upon the non-compliance of producing discovery. Those types of motions happen all of the time. So motion practice is something that you and your attorney should talk about in gaining a strategic advantage against the district attorney's office. If you have any questions about motions and motion practice in criminal cases, give me a call, 888-888-6582, or see us on the web. Download my book on criminal cases and my special report for criminal cases. The next email you receive will be about private investigators and using them in criminal cases.
For your free consultation, call the law offices of Vincent W. Davis and Associates today. 1-888-888-6582. That's 1-888-888-6582. Thank you for watching.